Oh my god, you guys. Buckle up, because I am about to take you on the most tragic, soul-crushing journey of my life me time at University Centre Reaseheath, Cheshire. And let me tell you, it was less prestigious education and more like, well, imagine if a dumpster fire had a baby with a bureaucratic nightmare, and then that baby was raised by emotionally stunted hamsters. Yeah, that. Let us start with the accommodation Beckors. Oh, the accommodation. Picture this, you ray a fragile little bird with mental health issues me, and you ray told, oh yes, darling, we'll take care of you. Only to find out surprise. They never mentioned the expensive deposit or the fact that the room you were promised. Yeah, it is actually a shared room. Like, excuse me, did I accidentally enroll in a prison? And the transport, oh the transport. They tell you, oh just wait 4 weeks for a bus pass. Like I am supposed to teleport to class, with mental and physical health issues, are they kidding me? And then there's the teaching. Oh, the teaching. The animal management department is basically a zoo, and not the fun kind. The kind where the animals are better cared for than the students, and honestly, even that is debatable. The hamsters, oh the hamsters. They ray kept in barren tanks with toxic sawdust and dangerous wheels. Like hello, basic animal welfare. Apparently that is too much to ask. And when students dare to point this out, the staff gaslight them saying, oh the vet signed off on it. As if Google doesn't exist and we can all see this is literal abuse. But wait, it gets worse. The staff, oh the staff. They treat students like misbehaving toddlers instead of adults. If you have mental health issues, just drop out. If you have disabilities, figure it out. One poor girl with seizures was told to leave the classroom when she had episodes like, oh yeah, because collapsing alone in a hallway is totally safe. And don't even get me started on the bullying both from students and staff. Favorites are picked, coursework is lost, and if you complain, you ray lying, and the food tech course, oh the scam of the century. They promise it is equivalent to 3 A levels, except, plot twist, it is worth 0 UCAS points. So basically you just wasted 2 years of your life for nothing, and the lectures, 1 day a week, the rest, waiting around like a lost puppy. Groundbreaking education, right? The SEN support, non-existent. They advertise it like it is this amazing resource, but in reality, the head of SEN literally said they don't make reasonable adjustments. Like what? That is illegal. And when parents fight back, the college loses Beckors, shocker, they ray in the wrong. And the animals, oh the neglect. Birds in diseased soil, turtles in tiny tanks, rabbits breathing in toxic dust. It is like a horror movie. But instead of ghosts, it is just incompetence. And when students try to help, they ray shut down. Like, oh sorry for caring about living creatures. So yeah, University Centre Reaseheath, Cheshire, more like University Centre Nightmare Fuel. If you want trauma, neglect and broken promises, go ahead. But if you have any self-respect, run, fast, and to everyone who suffered there, I see you, I believe you, and I am so sorry.
Now we turn our attention to the businesses that sit on the fringe of University Centre Reaseheath, Cheshire, and what a visitor can realistically expect when stepping inside their doors. Overall, the picture that emerges is one of disappointment dressed up as convenience. The common thread is a promise of value that quickly evaporates, replaced by cramped parking lots, long waits, prices that climb higher than a student's tuition, and service that feels more like an afterthought than a priority. In short, the surrounding establishments seem to have forgotten that hospitality should be a comfort, not a test of patience. Take the designer outlet at Cheshire Oaks as an example. The outlet markets itself as a shopping haven, yet the experience often feels like navigating a maze of rats and traffic jams. Visitors report car parks overrun with vermin, cables chewed by hungry rodents, and a parking situation so chaotic that crowds spill onto the streets like a never-ending parade. Even the internet connection appears to be on holiday, dropping out at the worst possible moment and turning a quick game break into a lost level saga. Shoppers also sense a hollow thrill when the bargains turn out to be cheap copies that barely differ from what can be found online for far less. The vibe is less designer dream and more overhyped and overpriced. A visit to the Granary Spa tells a similar story, only this time the silence you pay for is broken by chatter from the reception area. Guests who hoped for a tranquil escape find themselves listening to conversations that seep through thin walls, while the therapists seem to have misplaced the rhythm of a proper massage. Some patrons describe a session where the therapist's hands wander without purpose, leaving the client feeling more tense than before. The price tag, hovering around £50 for a full-body treatment, feels unjustified when the environment fails to deliver the promised serenity. Even the humble Café de Paris, tucked away in an alley, struggles to keep pace with its own reputation. Long queues stretch past the doors, and orders that should arrive in a few minutes linger for half an hour, leaving tea cold and patience worn thin. The menu, once praised for fresh flavors, now feels inflated in price while the portions shrink. Customers have voiced concerns about hygiene, watching staff handle both dogs and dishes without a proper wash, and they have been left without their favorite cakes when those items mysteriously disappear from the display. The overall atmosphere is cramped, dim, and often devoid of staff assistance, turning a simple coffee break into a scavenger hunt for a menu and a friendly greeting. A quick stop at Toast House in Nantwich might appear bright, but even here the size of the toasties forces diners to share, turning a solo lunch into a communal affair whether you want it or not. The sheer enormity of the bread can feel more like a culinary joke than a satisfying meal. The nightlife scene, embodied by the studio, presents perhaps the darkest chapter. The venue is plagued by a gatekeeping door policy that feels arbitrary and discriminatory. Young patrons have been denied entry because a bouncer claimed they did not look like themselves, while others with more revealing attire slip through without question. Once inside, the crowd feels squeezed into a small space, the bar staff are stretched thin, and drink prices climb steeply, making every sip taste like a financial sting. Reports of personal belongings vanishing and the club's silence, when contacted, only add to the uneasy aura that lingers long after the music stops. The Holly's Farm shop, a local favorite for many, now carries the weight of broken expectations. Dogs are turned away at the door, even when owners attempt to keep them close, and the shop's tiny footprint forces customers to rush through hurried aisles.
Prices for simple treats, such as a baguette with tuna, or a cup of tea soar into the realm of luxury, while the quality of the food falls short. Stale focaccia, soggy ciabattas, and coffee that tastes like water left out too long. The cafe's self-service model results in noisy beeps and unclean tables, and the waste generated by single-use packaging feels wasteful and unnecessary. Even loyal patrons leaving with a soggy pork pie or a flat white that could double as a science experiment find themselves questioning why they paid so much for so little. Finally, the Deadwood Smokehouse in Nantwich mirrors the same pattern of disappointment. Delivery orders have arrived in such a poor state that customers were forced to toss entire meals, while the same establishment promises a gluten-free fryer, only to serve salads lacking any dressing or flavor. Inside, diners have faced cold, bland dishes, overcooked ribs that taste more like burnt liver, and burgers that lose their appeal the moment they hit the plate. Service staff appear inexperienced, sometimes unable to answer simple questions about menu changes, and the overall atmosphere feels like a rushed kitchen trying to catch up with an ever-G.
I am looking into crimes near University Centre Reaseheath, Cheshire, and I feel a little sad just thinking about it, you know. Businesses near University Centre Reaseheath, Cheshire are often tiny souvenir stalls or little antique shops that hope tourists will spend a few pounds. One of those stalls on the main road near the campus pretended to sell original Welsh wool scarves. A couple of tourists from abroad paid cash and left with cheap polyester blends. The shopkeeper smiled, took their money and vanished before the day ended. The victims probably realized the scarves were fake when they tried to wash them, felt embarrassed and maybe asked the police for help. The shopkeeper likely fled to a nearby town, and the police might have started an investigation that could lead to a fine or a short jail term. The tourists probably left the town a little more wary and maybe complained online, which is why you see a few negative reviews now. Businesses near University Centre Reaseheath, Cheshire are also sometimes small-ticket kiosks that claim to sell cheap shuttle rides to the historic town of Nantwich. A tourist bought a discounted ticket for a day trip, handed over a credit card, and later the kiosk disappeared. The card was probably charged for more than the advertised price, and the vendor vanished with the cash. The victim likely called their bank to block the card, felt stressed about the lost money, and maybe missed the planned day out. The scammer could be caught if the bank tracks the transaction, but often they disappear into the night and leave a vague trail. The tourist probably left the area a bit more cautious about cash deals. Businesses near University Centre Reaseheath, Cheshire also include a small jewellery stand that displayed glittering rings. A visitor tried one on, the assistant accidentally dropped a ring in a bag and claimed it was a mistake, then asked for a larger payment to keep the piece. The visitor paid, only to discover the ring was a cheap alloy when they got home. They likely filed a complaint with the local consumer office, felt cheated and maybe never bought